Game conventions. Thousands of people come from all over the place to play cool stuff. They want to see something cool. They want to play something that slaps. Maybe we could have that game for them. Maybe our game will be the one everyone's talking about. Maybe we'll win awards. Maybe we'll get a handshake from Todd Howard. Well, we have a game. It's not ready to play yet. So we went ahead and reserved a booth. We'll figure it out later. Oh, wait. What's that? It's in less than a month? Yeah? Uh-huh. Okay, love you too, bye. Okay, great. Let's see if we can get our demo ready in time to show thousands of people. Should be a piece of cake, right? Yo, welcome to the next episode of our devlog series on our game Quiet on Set. We're trying to build a no-compromise story game set in the golden age of Hollywood. I'm here in our studio. Let's get to it. So as you know, the game we're building is a pretty large world, and I'm the only artist, so we're trying to come up with really quick and easy ways to build this world out. Right now, our current pipeline is a 3-step process. And the first step in this process is me modeling right like this. So that gives me the power of Blender to build the world, and that gives us the benefit of running it through other steps before we put it into Unreal Engine. So I can take this entire map that I built and we're gonna put it through Houdini.
So we can take Daniel's building that he made. What we want to do is we want to actually instance all of these objects. We take the model and we analyze it for convex and concave shapes, and we bake in vertex colors that will then be interpreted in later steps in shaders. We take those models and we actually create instances as opposed to duplicates, so Unreal will be more efficient in the actual rendering of it. One of the things that we were trying to tackle with this demo was to have really large surfaces, like an entire ground plane, to look good and to have more unique data for it. We actually came across this video from Marvel Spider-Man 2, I believe. They came up with this approach that they call color volumes, where they actually have unique color across everything in the world. We took some inspiration from that and made our own thing. With the ground plane, this ground plane is huge, and we want to be able to have unique variation on like a curb, where the curb meets the road. We might want to have like, dirt or something like that. So we have this huge ground plane, and in here we can actually use the geometry of the map and do some distance calculations. As you'll see, on the edge of the curve we actually have it to be red, and then we can actually draw lines for like where tire tracks would be, and we can also bake that into this big color texture. All these things, the ground plane as well as the buildings, they get saved out as a texture atlas. Then inside of Unreal, these big texture atlases can be read by the individual objects and modify the color and make them all fancy looking and everything.
So the third and last step in the pipeline is I take my models, the entire world, I import it into Unreal, and that stuff that Jed just showed in Houdini is built into Unreal, and all I have to do is hit a bake button, and boom. The textures and the models all populate themselves. I didn't have to make a single texture for any of these buildings or models or anything, because Houdini is taking a bunch of just random tiled noise textures, using the convex and concave data to make textures out of it, and also using world textures and everything. And so you're getting all of this cool detail in the buildings with all the grime and scratches. It makes it super easy for me to make really big stuff that still has detail in it. So if we're gonna have this demo fully playable, I have to actually finish the van, which is one of the main features of our game. I had put it off for a really long time because I suck at hard surface modeling, but I knew it was a really important aspect of not only the demo but the finished game. So I just buckled down. I learned as much as I could about hard surface modeling, vehicle design, especially the mid-century look of vehicles, kind of made our own version of a delivery van. And this is your like trusty steed that you drive around throughout the game. It's also your inventory. It's where you do your detective work in the back, and then this is where you play back the movie. This is where you watch all your footage that you recorded. So I want it to feel like it's you're a detective watching security camera footage. That's kind of like the aesthetic. And then all I have to do is just import it into Unreal, and boom, here we are, all nice and textured. Here's the outside of it. It's ready to drive in the game.
A big piece of this demo that we wanted to tackle and that we wanted to get our feet wet with is all of the animation. Within the demo, we have a lot of characters walking around doing different things. We have like our main characters that have a little simple story just for the purposes of a demo. You're following them through the world and seeing what they're doing. This was one of the motion capture sessions that we did between two different characters, and this is really like the first time that we've had a day where we have like a list of animations that we need. We sit down and we just like go through all of them. It's like, we need this scene, then we need this walk cycle. So in this scene in particular, we had some props and we had particular requirements for like, there's a door right here in the world. So we needed to make sure we measured and everything was lined up. So it's like, here's our virtual door. Here's like the box we need to pick up. We need to make sure you walk through this gated area. So we kind of drew all that out and lined it up in the motion capture volume. And then this is what it ended up looking like. So we have Daniel and Andrew, and they're running through their scene. This was a lot of fun, being able to direct these scenes and orchestrate them. It really is kind of like you're running a stage play, because you're kind of confined within the volume, and you have to be creative with how you lay things out and how they'll map between the physical and the virtual. Once we have all the motion capture recorded, we had individual scenes bound to a location. Then we also had motion capture for walk cycles. We had Daniel go and create a walking, a running, a strafing, all those various things. And then what we need to do is we needed to stitch them all together. And we're able to take a walk cycle and essentially repeat it along a curve. So we can actually load the map, create curves between individual scenes, and then we can take a character's walk cycle and have it repeat and follow that curve. And then at the intersection between a walk cycle and a scene, we can just stitch those together. So leading into a scene and leading out of a scene, we have those walk cycles. And then from here, we can actually bake out these animations where they're all blended together, and we can put them directly into Unreal, and they're all spatially correct.
Okay, so all that work was leading up to a hard deadline. We had to have a demo ready for the game convention. Motion capture, gameplay features, player interactions, art. There's so much to be done when you actually get into it. While the clock was ticking, we still had to get a booth design too. We blocked it out in 3D and came up with some quick and cheap solutions. Thanks a lot, Amazon Next Day Shipping. All right, now we've got a booth ready and less than a week left to get the demo done. After a handful of late night bug fixes and art polish, we finally had a build the morning of the convention. Now that we were completely drained from prepping the demo, we had no choice but to spend energy potions to keep us awake at the convention. Finally, we did it. People were actually playing the game. We did what we set out to do. We built a cool booth. We made a game demo. People are liking it. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, we got an award. So as you can probably tell, we had a lot of fun and we learned a valuable lesson. Hard set deadlines are one of the best ways to push your game forward. So you've made it this far into the video. I know you're probably wondering, what's the demo actually like? Is it good? Well, you get the royal treatment now. Let's get this puppy up on the projector and play the demo so that you guys can see it. Okay, so we've got an Xbox controller here. This is basically what we had at the convention. We just had a couple of Xbox controllers and PlayStation controllers. People could just walk right up and start playing. This is where you spawn into the game, and you're supposed to figure out how to get out of this building here, because you're locked in.
This being a demo and everything, there's still a lot of rough edges, and the great thing about showing like a demo at a convention is it really shows you where things aren't like super clear. There's a lot that we need to do to kind of tutorialize this and make it more understandable.
So what Jed just did right there was you can place a camera wherever you want. You grab an empty can of film, you put the film in that camera, and it records that location in the past. So now Jed has this film 1 that has recorded something from that location in the past.
So I can hop in the chair and then I can take my piece of film and I can put it into this, what we're calling the extractor. So it's essentially taking the film that you recorded of an area, so the camera spun, and then this is the part where it extracts the past out of the film. And now I'm looking from the perspective of the film, and I can essentially scrub back into the past.
And this is the fun part. This is something that we're still working on. This is really early stages, but we want this interface to feel as if we just took an Xbox controller and tore it apart and spread it across this TV, this hardware that was built.
As I take the left joystick and I start moving it, I'm scrubbing the timeline, and we really want it to feel like you can get in there and you can get to the exact time you want, and we want it to really be pretty effortless. So right now I can press the B button. You know, I can't press the B button. How do I get out?
A again, or the interact button.
No.
Is it X?
X. I can press X, and I can pull out. And then let's say that like I didn't like that perspective. Then I can go back out here, and this is something too that we're kind of fine tuning. So I'm gonna move the camera over there. I can get my piece of film in the canister. I can put it in here. It's gonna record this area. I can grab it.
Now it's film 2.
We'll go over here. I'll plop it in. And now it's the same thing. And the cool thing is that the extractor is pulling out time
from that location.
Yeah, well, it's synced between all the rolls of film that are plugged into the extractor. So if I press X, over here, you can see he's in the exact same spot, just from different perspectives. In here, he's standing in front of the door, and then over here, he's also standing in front of the door, but now I'm in a different perspective, so I can kind of see.
Our creative hand-wavy science to this is the fact that you are re-extracting light that hit this film in the past.
And so I can kind of like fine tune this and be like, oh, what did he pull out of that drawer there? One of the things that we found out pretty quickly at the convention is we definitely need to have like a zoom so you can change the FOV of the camera. So right there I can see it says 222. Now I can go out here, hop out of the van, and now I know that he grabbed that piece of paper and put into this lock the code 222. So I can go bam, bam, and bam, and I can press the big button, boom.
Da, 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 da.
The other cool things too is that like, depending on, you know, what happens in the past, so if I were to go back to this door, I can see in the past at this time, the door was closed. So like, let's say before I actually went and figured out the code, I could actually scrub back in the past and be like, oh, look, there's something else behind this door that I can't currently see in the present. And so you can kind of get more information about.
Yeah, and hopefully a lot of the gameplay will be driven by curiosity. You know, like the classic Myst games that need to see what's on the other side of a door.
Now that I have the door open, I can come over here, I can grab my camera, and then the van works, and so I can
yeehaw!
Start driving the van around.
And here we are.
Because I'm like taking the control center with me in the back of this van, you can kind of go wherever you want in the map, and you just drive there and you have everything you need. I can go over here and I can place the camera down, maybe here, and grab another piece of film, go put it in the camera, let it record, bam. It's still persistent in time, so you'll see over there, the guy that we were tracking earlier on, who just went out the door, he's still in that same location from a different perspective. So now I can keep scrubbing. Oh, and he just went over back that way. I'm not gonna track him further because he doesn't really do anything. So I could start investigating. So you'll notice, at least for this demo, this little simple scenario, we have the get into soundstage 2 kind of like note. So we need to get into this building, because you'll see that like there's soundstage 3, soundstage 1, so we want to try to get into soundstage 2. So I can put my camera down. And it's pretty obvious, like a lot of these things were really just like us testing things out.
We don't want our environment design to be so blatant that it's obvious where you're supposed to put the camera. It needs to be, we're trying to encourage exploration and discovery, but for the sake of the demo, we have to just kind of help people get through it quickly.
Yeah. Now I can put this in here. And so I'm trying to get into Soundstage 2. And I can scrub back, and I can see that there's this dude here that came around the corner, and he's also trying to get into Soundstage 2.
You can now see my great acting ability.
Yeah.
My performance capture is just impeccable.
These are also metahuman characters. So these are just your bog standard Unreal metahuman characters. That's something too that we're going to be working on in the very near future, is getting our own custom characters. But for now, like the retargeting process from, you know, our custom mocap to these really wasn't too bad. So I can get out of here. So I can see that he tried to open the door and he failed. So I'm gonna go over and let's grab another piece of film, and I'm gonna grab my camera, and we can see where he's going. So I can put down maybe my camera like here in the middle somewhere. Go ahead and record it. And so this is also all the work that we had to do.
Yeah, what we were showing off earlier, now you can actually see it in game.
Yeah. Grab the film.
Oh yeah, gotta discard some.
So then I can grab this, put that in. Now I can keep scrubbing, and I know that he'll probably be coming from that direction over there. Yep, and another thing that we really want to do is we want the movie studio to feel like it's bustling, like there's a lot of things happening and characters doing different things. So this is very rudimentary, but we included, you know, a guy painting on the wall and like some guys walking with boxes. It's definitely going to be a lot more in the final game, but that's kind of what we're going for. And so I can see he's going way over there. So I'm going to pop out. And we'll just drive over there. And actually, before I leave, this is something that if you were to play this, you'd end up finding this camera, which we'll talk about in a minute. Put this puppy down. So here he is. He's starting to come over here. I can see he went into the gate, and he's talking with that guy.
So the gate's open here.
Yeah, and so if I pop out, I can go over here, and I can see that the gate is actually closed in the present. So I kind of want to see what's going on in there. And so this is where one of our main mechanics will come in handy. So we have this tripod camera, and this tripod camera is very, it's stationary, and it can only record one position in the world. But we have this other mechanic that will be introduced that we're calling like a sticky camera. And I think we've mentioned this before, but basically, if, let's see, if I go back in the past and I look at this scene play out, I can see our dude here, he just goes about his business. And then the other guy actually carries a box out of that enclosed area, and he walks over here and actually puts the box on this truck, and that truck drives away. If I go and track that truck, we'll hop in the van here. We'll go see if we can find where that truck is. Oh.
Trash can.
Oh gosh. My word. We're still working on stuff, okay? the driving mechanics are a little squirrely. We're gonna fix them. Here's a truck that we saw, and now the mechanic is that if I attach this sticky camera to an object, if that object moved into the past, the camera will follow with that object. So I can put this camera on the box, and then I'll get a piece of film here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna record this location with the sticky camera, and we'll take the piece of film. This is film 7, and we'll put that in. Okay, so now I'm seeing from the perspective of the truck, and if I go back to here, you can see this is where it was parked, and now I can rewind back in time, and the camera is actually following where the box was. And I can keep going. It goes all the way back here. We can see our dude there. He's walking. He picks up our box, and I get to be taken back into this area that I didn't have access before. And I can keep rewinding, and I can see, oh, here they are. They're talking. It's like, oh, there's a piece of paper.
With another note.
On the piece of paper, it says 778. Right now, these mechanics are like, the whole paper with the code, it's a little gimmicky, but these are like stand-ins for the kind of idea behind the mechanics.
And it's still a little glitchy, but this is a really fun mechanic using the sticky cameras. The idea that you can kind of like access areas that you physically can't get into, but you can if you travel through the past.
From here, I can go, now that I know that code, and so that's the thing, like that code just isn't available in the present at all. It's only visible in the past. I don't know, if we go over here, was it 718 or 7?
I think 718.
Yep, okay. Bam! Woo!
Ooh, we beat it.
Yeah.
All right, so it's, as you saw, it's a little rough around the edges, but it's all a work in progress.
It's just very exciting to get to this point where we have something here.
It's a good proof of concept.
Yeah. The visuals are in there for the most part. Some of the mechanics and the idea of how you'll be viewing the story and everything. It's a big step forward.
Yeah, and we've got some really promising things coming up soon with some of the new stuff we're developing with the characters and all of that.
Thanks a lot for sticking with us for this devlog, and we will see you later.